Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I kind of wanted to just take a look at Vanguard zombies and see if we maybe overlooked it or if it really is not too bad. So I just decided to go back, give it a run through. I only played Duranfang because if I want to play Shino Numa, I'll play Black Ops 3, which I have been doing a ton of lately. So I just did Duranfang, and I figured why not make this a little nostalgic? And the format for it is very relative to how we did our Zombies series, where I'm going to have pros, cons, and a verdict at the end. It won't be a rating, because if you want to see that, I do have that playlist, but it will be a verdict, and so yeah, let's get into it. So let's do our pros first. Let's start on a positive note. It does look good. Like, I'll give it that. The lighting, the reflections, like, it looks good. And like the darkness, the tone it's trying to set, it sets really well. Throughout all the maps, even the Archon with the weird green tint it has. But it looks good. Like, you can tell this is a game that came out not too long ago. Next, this is more specifically for this one, but the map itself translates really well from multiplayer to zombies, which isn't something you would find a ton of throughout this, and some of the objectives, but this one, like, the hub for this really did translate well. Like, if this were not a multiplayer map, I could believe this was a zombies map. It reminds me of the type of ones you'd see in Call of Duty World War II. The zombie health progression in this feels very fluid. As long as you're upgrading your weapons when you can and staying at a steady pace with the game, it doesn't feel like there's a point where they get too strong or they become too bullet spongy. It feels like a steady progression, and I'll give it that, because sometimes there are zombie games where it feels like out of nowhere you're just fighting these rocks, but in this it feels very steady and smooth. Next, overall, it is kind of a nice change of pace to have a little extra something in there instead of just the survive till you die, which, I mean, you could argue Easter eggs and whatnot, but in terms of overall gameplay loop, it is kind of a nice change of pace to have to actually do things. Even if there is only 5 different objectives to jump between, it's kind of nice to have that. Next is Ritual Hearts. I really like that system of every 3 round, well, in this case every round, but in the survival maps, every 3 rounds you get a ritual heart, and there's a thing you can go to that gives you little additives and bonuses you can spend them on, like automatically aiming for the head, or having lightning or winter effects on your guns, or even critical kills giving you ammunition back in your magazine. So it's just kind of a nice little thing. It's fun to play around with and see all the different combinations you can get, and as you go up in level, the rarity increases, making those things better. The only thing I wish was that they had implemented something to make it so not only could you either choose new ones, but if you came to those 3 rounds, you could upgrade the ones you had, maybe for a higher rate of ritual hearts, or like a bigger charge, but even without it, it would have been a nice little thing to have. This one I kind of talked about a little bit already, but the center map is good size for a hub. Like, that's really all it is a hub world to get you from objective to objective, but it doesn't feel too massive, which is something that, it's either the Archon or Terra del Maldicta. I think it's Maldicta that did it, but that just felt too big for a hub world. Like, if you didn't have like level 3 stamina up, you were wasting an entire 1 to 2 minutes getting from objective to objective, or one end of the map to the other, and it felt unnecessary. But for this map, the hub world is a really good size. I'll give it that. It's just really easy and simple to get from point A to point B without making a journey out of it. And with the hub, another thing I like is that everything you'll need to upgrade your arsenal is right in the center. It's not scattered. I mean, the perks are here and there, but like, again, because size, that's not an issue. But all the main things are right in the center. The Pack-a-Punch, the Ritual Station, the upgrading your specialist, building your armor, it's all right there. And I really like how it's laid out there. Next is, I will commend them for this, but it will be our first con, is the attempt at enemy variation. I enjoy having enemy variation in zombies. Like, it's part of the reason I like Black Ops 4 is because there is variation. But Black Ops 4 did it well. This game, not so much, but we'll talk about that in the cons. I have one more pro for this, and that's the Void. The Void is, once you do enough objectives and get far enough, it can take 6 to 7 rounds, but once you unlock most of it, the Void is just round based in heavy quotations, and just the first cabin area of Shinonuma. And it's okay. It works for what it was at the time, and it's what kind of started to plant those seeds of we're getting something new, but it wasn't great. Now to the cons. Let's start off here with enemies. This thing right here is it's the worst addition they had to this whole game. Zabala the Deceiver is the most annoying enemy I've seen in zombies. I would rather fight 6 abominations than 1 Abala. Like, she's super annoying. And she can ruin a train like nobody's business. I can't stand her. With the other enemies, the Sturmkrieger, kind of like a Mangler, but whereas the Mangler there were breaks and a very easy to hit weakness, the Sturmkrieger, his main weakness is you could just go for standard headshots, or he has backpack, which has his machine gun ammo in it, I'm assuming. It's just annoying to hit, because trying to get him to turn around is like trying to drink the ocean through a paper straw, and it's terrible. And I can't even remember what they're called, the blast guys that explode. It's like the fire zombies from Black Ops 2 amped up to 11, and they're just super obnoxious, and I'm not a fan of them. Next is, it does feel repetitive, and somehow more so than standard round-based zombies. I don't know how that's possible, but to me, it feels more repetitive. Like I said, I've been on a huge Black Ops 3 kick, and I haven't had that issue once where I feel like, this again. But when I wanted to record this video, it was genuinely to see if I'd enjoy it, and I booted it up and immediately was ready to go play Black Ops 3. It feels way too rinse and repeat. Objective progression with this, so every round the objectives give you 1,000 more points, which is a lot, but it caps at 10. And with the way things are priced in this game, it's super expensive to get all your perks and get your weapon maxed out, and wanting to get 2 weapons maxed out is going to take even longer, and it drags. Like, it really drags. The perk system, I don't like it, and this is nothing new. Like, a lot of people have complained about this when the game came out. It's an interesting thought, but it's not executed well, and that's the problem with it. Is in order to upgrade these perks, you have to buy them multiple times for increasing prices, but then you die or you lose the match and you got to do it all over again. That's why it worked in Cold War, was because you upgraded it outside of the game and they stayed upgraded. You didn't have to redo it every single game, because it starts to feel less like gaming and more like a chore. The camo grind. This is more to the game itself. These weapons, after like level 30, feel like you hit a stint in the road, and it takes forever. You have to get them to level 80 or 70 to even be able to get all the camos, and some of them are ridiculously hard, and were a pain without the round base. Now with round base they're easy, but there's certain ones that on this and Terra Maledicta that just felt like a chore. And I love camo grinding. Like, I have all the camos for Black Ops 3, 4, and Cold War all dark matter because it was fun. This does not feel fun. It feels like it takes way too long because it does. It just, I don't know, it strips the fun away from it. Next, unlocking the hub. The objectives are set. You don't get to choose the objectives. And in that, there's some that are really garbage. Like there's one called Sacrifice where you have to protect these things from zombies, and it feels annoying. And if that's your only choice, it's your only choice, and there's no way around it. And so you just have to do it. And you could say suck it up and play the game, but like it just, why play the game if the game isn't fun? You know what I mean? Now for our final con. Sudden frame rate fit. And I don't mean dip, I mean fit. I immediately had to record this. This is not edited by any means. And once I get to the top of the stairs, I put the controller down. I wasn't touching the controller for any of this. It was just doing all that. And I mean, I picked the controller back up, I think, here. But come on. Like, it was fine until we hit round 11. And then it just started doing all this. Again, none of this is edited, even though it looks like it. It's not. And I understand the underdevelopment and the issues that went into developing this game, but come on. Like, they charged full price for this. There's a reason it was going on sale relatively soon after launch, and a reason why I'm probably the only person who's played this game in months, and a reason why people look on this game so terribly. It ran like garbage at launch. It runs like garbage 2-3 years later. It had all the right pieces, but it couldn't fit them together in an executable way. And in a good, clean way either. Like I said in the beginning, it does look nice. Like, I will give it that. I love the way this game looks. But it doesn't play nice. If you've got, let's say you get a beautiful painting, right? But every hour, one color spontaneously disappears off the painting. It'd be cool in theory, but at the end of the day, after owning this thing for 24 hours, you've just spent $400 on a painting just to have a blank sheet of paper on your wall. You know, it was a pointless purchase. And that's how this game makes me feel. I was excited for it at the time. I wanted to try something new that they had, but it wasn't done well and it wasn't taken care of, so it died. It is the Tamagotchi of Call of Duties. So, yeah, I mean, for the verdict, it's 50-50. If you're looking for a change of pace, maybe do this, or just play Outbreak in Cold War, or Onslaught in Cold War, or even go back to Black Ops 2 and play Grief, or Turned, or something. There's still people playing that game online. This is not, it wasn't upheld well. And, I mean, by all means, give it another look, see what you think. At the end of the day, these are just my thoughts and opinions, and what I was picking up and feeling. You may feel completely different. I almost doubt this, but this might be your favorite Call of Duty. And if it is, props to you for seeing the beauty where I couldn't. But I don't think it's worth it. I think if it had been taken care of more and a little more time was able to have been put into it, and I know that's not entirely out of the developers. It's, you gotta make that big bucks. But you can't make big bucks if you're selling dog turds. So, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you're having a good day. If you're watching early on, have a good rest of your day. I will see you in the next one. And until then, let me know what you thought in the comments below. I'm very curious to see what you guys agree on, disagree on, or, you know what? Just tell me how your day's been. Any of those things work. I know it's been a couple days, but I got a new job. My sleep and work schedule is very different than it has been in a long time. But yeah, you know what? See ya.